Greetings, fellow detectives. Wizard Kitten here, bringing you part 7 in our walkthrough for Nancy Drew the Captive Curse. We successfully got through Renate's bag, and we have 2 things to look at here. First is
I need
this
to figure out the color code to open this.
color code machine, which is like the game Password if you've ever played that. My favorite strategy for this game is to start with just all of one color and see if any of those are right, because it just gives you some useful information. So like for now, I know that one blue has to be in there. So maybe I'll put a blue and then try the rest purple and see how that goes. Okay, so I know there's no purple because there has to be a blue, but my blue's in the wrong spot. So let's try the blue here and maybe go with some greens. Okay, cool. There's a blue and a green. So my blue's probably in the right spot, and there's a green in the right spot. So let's try that one, and maybe 2 reds. Okay. So I bet my blue's in the right spot. My green probably is in the wrong spot, and then I don't think there's any reds. So let's try the light blues, the turquoise. Same thing. Blue's probably in the right spot. Green probably was in the wrong spot. I don't think there's any turquoise, so let's try some orange. Ooh, we got 3 right. Nice. Okay, so blue is probably right. Green is probably right. Maybe let's try orange here and then purple. Look at that. Look at us go. Foolproof plan. Ooh, a map.
What's Renate up to? It seems like she's tracking the monster. There's a dungeon in this castle. I'd better find it.
This looks so helpful. Shop. It looks like through the glass shop, though, which we haven't been able to get into. And then in the forest, there's footprints, actual sightings of the monster, like inside the castle? Weird. Claw marks. Lots of red claw marks in the courtyard. Dead animal. Ew, there were dead animals inside the castle? Oh no, one in the courtyard and one like right in the entryway. That's still creepy though. And then girl abducted. Someone from the dungeon, someone from the glass shop. 5 girls were abducted? Ooh, creepiness. Don't like that. Okay, and then she has this book. The Owl and Other Grimm's Tales. Ooh. Trapped and no way out. Awoke, scared and alone. A weak light shone through the grate in the ceiling far above, barely illuminating her cell. The nearly unadorned walls held no doors and no apparent way out. Panic began to overcome the girl as she realized she was trapped. Her heart raced as she cried for help. Heavy footsteps filled the room above, and the girl began to hope for rescue. She called out again. The steps came closer, and then the grate pulled back. A shadowy figure appeared in the opening above. A blood-curdling scream left her lips as the light from above revealed the features of the monster who had caught her. N and like a star. That's scary.
We better hang on to this.
Okay, and then the owl story. 200 or 300 years ago, when people were far from being so crafty and cunning as they are nowadays, an extraordinary event took place in a little town. By some mischance, one of the great owls, called horned owls, had come from the neighboring woods into the barn of one of the townsfolk in the nighttime, and when day broke, did not dare to venture forth again from her retreat, for fear of the other birds, which raised a terrible outcry whenever she appeared. In the morning, when the manservant went into the barn to fetch some straw, he was so mightily alarmed at the sight of the owl sitting there in a corner that he ran away and announced to his master that a monster, the like of which he could never set eyes on in his life, and which could devour a man without the slightest difficulty, was sitting in the barn, rolling its eyes about in its head. "I know you already," said the master. "You have courage enough to chase a blackbird about the fields, but when you see a dead hen lying, you have to get a stick before you go near it. I must go and see for myself what kind of a monster it is," added the master, and he went quite boldly into the granary and looked round him. When, however, he saw the strange grim creature with his own eyes, he was no less terrified than the servant had been. With 2 bounds, he sprang out, ran to his neighbors, and begged them imploringly to lend him assistance against an unknown and dangerous beast, or else the whole town might be in danger if it were to break loose out of the barn, where it was shut up. A great noise and clamor arose in all the streets. The townsmen came armed with spears, hay-forks, scythes, and axes, as if they were going out against an enemy. Finally, the senators appeared with the burgomaster at their head. When they had drawn up in the market-place, they marched to the barn and surrounded it on all sides. Thereupon one of the most courageous of them Thereupon, one of the most courageous of them stepped forth and entered with his spear lowered, but came running out immediately afterwards with a shriek and as pale as death, and could not utter a single word. Yet 2 others ventured in, but they fared no better. At last one stepped forth, a great strong man who was famous for his warlike deeds, and said, "You will not drive away the monster by merely looking at him. We must be in earnest here, but I see that you have all turned into women, and not one of you dares to encounter the animal." He ordered them to give him some armor, had a sword and spear brought, and armed himself. All praised his courage, though many feared for his life. The 2 barn doors were opened, and they saw the owl, which in the meantime had perched herself on the middle of a great crossbeam. He had a ladder brought, and when he raised it and made ready to climb up, they all cried out to him that he was to bear himself bravely, and commended him to St. George, who slew the dragon. When he had just got to the top, and the owl perceived that he had designs on her, and was also bewildered by the crowd and the shouting, and knew not how to escape, she rolled her eyes, ruffled her feathers, flapped her wings, snapped her beak, and cried, "To wit, to who?" in a harsh voice. Strike home, screamed the crowd outside to the valiant hero. "Anyone who was standing where I am standing," answered he, "would not cry, 'Strike home.'" He certainly did plant his foot 1 rung higher on the ladder, but when he began to tremble, and half fainting, went back again. And now there was no one left who dared to put himself in such danger. "The monster," said they, "has poisoned and mortally wounded the very strongest man among us, by snapping at him and just breathing on him. Are we, too, to risk our lives?" They took counsel as to what they ought to do to prevent the whole town being destroyed. For a long time everything seemed to be of no use, but at length the burgomaster found an expedient. "My opinion," said he, "is that we ought out of the common purse to pay for this barn and whatsoever corn, straw, or hay it contains, and thus indemnify the owner, and then burn down the whole building and the terrible beast with it. Thus no one will have to endanger his life. This is no time for thinking of expense, and miserliness would be ill applied." All agreed with him. So they set fire to the barn at all 4 corners, and with it the owl was miserably burnt. Let anyone who will not believe it go thither and inquire for himself. Wow, that's quite the story. I feel bad for the owl. Interesting. Renata wakes. Oh my gosh. Close timing. Hi, Renata.
Hello,
What's up?
Nancy.
See you later.
Bye.
I wasn't just looking through your stuff, no worries. That was really good timing. Wow. I wonder if that story is supposed to be kind of allegorical and symbolic of this mystery that we're dealing with now. Like everyone is too afraid to actually recognize what's truly going on. It's interesting. Hi, Carl.
Nancy, what is going on?
Anya mentioned a glass shop. Can you help me find a way in?
She did she? Fine. You want to look in there? Go ahead, but stay away from the furnace.
Why's that?
It's a glass furnace. It's deadly. We've had accidents. It is not for fooling around. Be very careful. You could die down there.
Ooh, a key.
Thanks.
Cool.
I'd like to help you with your character again.
All right, now what do you think? Brown fur or black fur?
Black fur.
Black.
Thanks.
Thanks. See you later.
Bye, Nancy.
Okay, let's go see if we can get into the glass shop. That sounds helpful. Because according to Renata's map, there's actually, it looks like a passageway down there. That's the wrong way, I think. I think we need the other side. We need this side? Yep, there we go. Okay. Hee, glass shop. Yeah, there we go.
This is the lowest room in the castle. I should be able to find the dungeon through here somehow.
Somehow, yes. I think this is...
There's no power.
I think this is the sharpener that we can use.
Aha! That's why it's not working.
Easy enough.
Now it should work.
IT rule number 1. Is it plugged in? Awesome. Okay, let's sharpen these shears. Sweet. Now we can actually cut through the burrs in the forest. Okay, we'll turn that off. What else do we got in here? There's like garbage. There's bucket of sand. I mean, probably for making glass. Nothing in this one. Bucket of...
I hate snakes.
That looks like a Lucas prank. A boingy snake. Anything else? Some, like, glass-blowing tools, I guess? I guess we'll just take them all.
The old snake prank. I bet Lucas is behind this.
It's got, like, a monster face on it. That stinker. What's in here? Oh,
This
glass
could come in
tile.
handy.
That's from that puzzle box, I bet. And can't open either of these, apparently. And can't look at the boxes. Can we look in here? What does this say? Danger, high heat. Do not open furnace door without placing shield in front of furnace. So if you open it now, I bet you will burst into flames. But if we put this across, then we should be better. Okay, there's like a lever in there. Can we maybe use these tongs to move the lever or something? Ooh! Secret passageway! Oh, it's really dark. Does Nancy have a flashlight? Do we have a flashlight, Nancy? Ooh, it's creepy. This is so creepy. I would never go in here alone.
This looks like it's about the legend, and there are letters in the corner.
The door slammed shut, plunging her into darkness. She had evaded the monster at the well for now. The girl fumbled for her tinderbox. In her panic, she could not get her shaky hands to behave. Finally, a spark caught, and the torch sputtered and eventually burned brightly. Shivering, soaked, and fatigued from her ordeal, she began to stumble forward. To her surprise, the dank passage was familiar. Her father had recently led her through them in anticipation of the new duties she would be taking on, the same day he had given her the necklace. Taking a deep breath, she pulled out the map he had given her, hoping that the water hadn't destroyed it. The exits were still clearly visible. It was time to make her escape. One could easily become lost in this maze of dark tunnels. OM. It seems like somebody wrote a story based off of the monster legend. It's almost like a...
What's that? It looks like some sort of trapdoor.
Yeah, it does. It's almost like...
Looks like something could fit in here.
Like historical fiction in a way. Like somebody took the stories of the haunting, or not haunting, I guess. It's more like a terrorization. Took stories of that and made it into a fiction story, it seems like. Because how would they get information from anyone else? Oh, it looks like this part caved in. Okay, well, we found a creepy dungeon. That's pretty cool. I'm into that. Should we maybe go to the woods now? And now that we have the sharpened shears, maybe we can chat with Anya quick.
Hi.
The girl in the painting, was she really the Freiherr's daughter? Did the girl in the legend really exist?
Who knows? She's not real. I mean, those girls really did disappear, but that's just an artist's guess of what they looked like. She probably looked nothing like that. The part of those drawings that always gets me, they just seem to be looking to you for help. I always just want to say, I'm so sorry, there's nothing I can do for you. Don't stop running.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
It's kind of a sad, scary thing to say. All right, let's head out to the forest really quickly. And hopefully we don't get lost. And see if we can use our shears. So I think it was to the right. It's kind of one of those things that you just figure out eventually. Of course, we do have Renate's map now, so that helps. But if you go to the right, then you're probably going to get there a lot easier. Okay, shears.
There's a camp back here.
Somebody's totally living here.
This will definitely come in handy.
Flashlight, thank you.
It looks like this was dropped accidentally. I wonder what it's for.
Weird. Some sort of like stone circle. Okay, so like a monster wouldn't make a camp, right? They wouldn't have a tent and a fire. That seems odd. Seems out of character for a monster. Interesting. Okay, let's try and make sure we get our way back out of here. Aha! Didn't. Yep, stick to the right, and then when you're on your way back, stick to the left. Alright, I think I'm going to leave this part right here. Thank you so much for watching, fellow detectives. I will see you soon.